Hi everyone, my name is Chris and welcome to Monetics Webcast. I have
And
here my lady from Uganda. Her name is Prosy. We have our special guest. His name is Shudubim Godfrey Watshinameri. But please, Prosy, help me. Help me to pronounce it well in African style.
Chidubem watching America is the founder of FUTUREHOLDS Foundation. Yes, so we are glad to have him here. And Chidubem watching America, I think I'm pronouncing it right.
We'll
Yeah, so
ask
he's a
him.
founder of FUTUREHOLDS. he's a future. He's the founder of FUTUREHOLDS True Value Impact Foundation, with an improvement from the sector of education to run educational programs in the country.
He has these programs in a whole year. He runs three programs every year. So the first one is he have this state student leadership summit, which is usually held every February of the year. So they have this around 1,500 students across the country. They support the transportation of them, the logistics, and they give professional training for these students. They also have this single mother and widow empowerment training. Yeah, and they do this
Yes,
every
yes.
June of the year, right? And they discuss life issues, fundamental issues with the life of widows and women, and how they can recover from it. Can you share with us, Prosy, the third project that they are doing in Nigeria?
He has been able to train different students across the country with education, empowering them in promoting better education. So, which is very good. And with that comes with after school programs, helping them, assist them, mostly the fresh graduates, you move out of university without knowing anything. So mostly here. So with the hands-on training, digital skilling, and digital literacy, which is actually very good for the students and the graduates. So those are some of the things he does. And there are very many things he does, but those are some that we've decided to put the limelight. So back to you,
Yes.
Chris.
Yes, and so we are so excited to present to you. So with no further ado, here is the person behind these great projects in Nigeria, creating youth impact to youths, to women, to students, to everyone. Please let us welcome Mr. Godfrey.
Yeah, Godfrey, how are you?
Hello, pleasure meeting. I'm fine.
Yeah,
My pleasure
uh,
meeting you all.
yeah, thank you. Thank you for the good work. And we are glad
Yeah,
to have met you. You're doing tremendous work in the community, in the Africa at large. And it's really, really been amazing seeing what you've been able to do and looking after the youth's future. Yeah. So I would like you to introduce yourself, and you can tell us a little bit of the background of what you do, who you are. We may have been not able to introduce you very well, so it will be a pleasure for you to tell us what you do and what you do for the industry.
all right. My pleasure meeting you all. I am so excited speaking with you this day. My name is Chidubem Godfrey Wachinemere. I happen to be the CEO and the founder of Feature Hosts True Value Impact Foundation. In a short form, you could call it Feature Hosts Foundation. We are basically in pursuit of mind transformation through capacity building for the teenagers, for the youths,
Yeah.
for single mothers and widows. So we are doing all we can to change the narrative and bring restoration and help to these categories of individuals in Nigeria and my country. Thank you very much.
Thank you so
Thank you for that.
much.
Thank you for that. Let me ask you, Mr. Godfrey, is that okay if we call you Godfrey?
That's all right. That's all right. But you have to learn to call me by my um, Igbo name. But that's all right.
Watching Emel.
Yeah, that's all right. Just go ahead with Godfrey.
I will be
Yeah, thank you.
referring
Thank you
to
for
you
that.
with that.
So, I just want to ask because 1,500 students is a huge number. For every project that you manage to handle 1,500 students, what are the challenges that you encounter, and what are the things that you do for you to achieve this advocacy?
Yeah, the first challenge we had when we started in 2020 was the issue of the organization started in 2019, but we moved into work in 2020. So the first challenge we had is um, schools coming to believe in what we have to offer. People, individuals coming to believe that we have stuff to offer. We have stuff to impact the lives of their children and their life. So that's the first challenge we had. And the second challenge that has been there and is there for every organization is the issue of funding, funding. But um, God has been able to see us through. So let me rephrase it this way: the first the first thing that we were able to deal with is to secure God's approval to this project. The second one, which is the challenge, is people coming to believe in us. And the third one, which is a general challenge, is the area of funding, because the program is completely free for, whether be it for single mothers or the widows, be it for the students are not paying, the teenagers are not paying, the school management are not paying, the teachers, we are running professional training that should cost them a lot, are not also paying, is entirely free. And we are we are excited, and we are so much glad that we are doing it every day, every time we host our programs. Thank you.
So I see the work you're doing, and it is close to my heart because I kind of do the same work. Digital skilling for young people is my thing. I don't know if you've been able to work with Africa Code Week. With the digital skilling is like I think that would be one of the things we'll discuss later on. And the vision for Africa is to be able to have every child equipped with the digital skills without fail, And I already see you have that vision. I was able to see some of your YouTube videos extending it to the church people, and it's really tremendous. And with that said, I'm looking at the categories that you picked. I kind of understand, but maybe someone out there may not understand why you picked that exact category. And in the categories you picked, I see the kids, the students, the schools, the teachers, and then you added single mothers. Yeah, so that's why you have me curious, because in my side, when I'm doing digital skilling, I have the first four. I don't have single mothers. I'm very curious. Why did you add single mothers on that list?
Okay, one would have expected that we should, categorize it as women. We
Yes.
didn't want to categorize it as women, even though that we eventually will have maybe a passerby project that we can handle that has to do with women. But the focus for single mothers is that they are being neglected. The single mothers. A lot has been done globally for the widows, but we are not seeing anything being done for the single mothers. These are people that are that got into a relationship maybe, or got pregnant for a man and the man has refused um, getting married to them, has abandoned them with their children. So we are saying, let's put aside her mistake and rescue this soul. We are not rescuing her alone, we are also rescuing her with her children. She may have either one or two. So we are saying there is hope for this woman who is a single mother, and there is hope for her children who nobody seems to take responsibility about. And people seems not to get married to single mothers. We are saying that a single mother can still be a better mother in a home if an opportunity is given to her to get married to a man. Thank you.
It's truly, truly awesome. And that speaks to the heart. Now, which kind of programs do we extend to the single mothers? Because mostly we have the single mothers start small businesses, and they actually don't know what to do with them to promote themselves. I'm very curious, which kind of services do we extend on the digital skilling? Do we put in some entrepreneurship? Which kind of programs do we extend to these people?
They are not a different class of individuals. They are human beings, they are women, and they have blood running in their vein. They have blood running in their vein. So, in the past trainings we've done, we've been able to train them in entrepreneur. We the last program we had, we brought a banker. We brought a banker who taught on savings, how you can start a business. I say it again and I will say it anywhere in the globe that we are changing the narrative. The Future Host Foundation is changing the narrative. What is the narrative? That each time you mention a single mother, people seems to pity her. She's in the category of pitiable personality. We are saying no. And we told them in the last program we had that you are not in the pitiable category, that you can learn any form of skill. We had somebody come to train them on agriculture. We are hoping in 23rd is the remembrance day of the widows, and we are merging it with the single mothers and all that. We are saying to them, don't stay and end your life as a single mother. There is a future ahead of you. Forget about your past, forget about your regret, forget about your mistakes, and take responsibility. That is why we are pushing hard to say you can stand again.
Thank you for that, and that's very beautiful. You're giving a chance to these women that it's not the end. There's a hope. You can change the life, you can change the future, and you can build your own business, or you can stand on your own and raise your child, right? So now I just wonder, because when we talk about single mothers, these are typically younger women, right, in the society. So what about widow? So most of the widows are elders in the society, aging maybe seniors like 60 or to 65. How do you empower these women? What programs do you give them? And do you think if they are given a chance to start new businesses, what are those? Or skills, what are those?
Okay, let me disagree with you a bit that widows are not the aged women. We had young women that are widows. That was the reason why in our last program we brought a woman who has been a widow for 30 years. She has been a widow for 30 good years. We brought her to share practical experience. How was she able to navigate after 9 years of marriage and her husband died? How were you able to do it? And we brought her to share practical experience. And today, her children are graduates, some are staying outside the country, and she is comfortable and she already have grandchildren and all of that. So the programs and the package we are looking forward um, to impart to them. Some of them that are young widows can move into technology, which is a driving force. Once you are able to get a laptop, you can move into that. We have a resource person we are going to be bringing this year program to teach them on cosmetology. You can produce perfume, you can produce hand wash, car wash, you can produce these things, package it, get a NAFDAC number, have your establishment, and become a distributor in a process of time. We can move some of these people to going into the agriculture instead of the hand to mouth. You can begin to produce what that you can resell in your community. We are already trying to discuss with some communities where lands can be leased and we can give it to some single mothers or widows to farm on that land for a period of 2 to 3 years, and then we return it back to the owner of that land. Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing, and yes, I agree with you. Sometimes the single mothers and widows are young people, and skilling them, having a new skill, that is actually a way to go. So we have looked at the mothers, and we've looked at the single mothers, we've looked at the widows. Now we have the students. Yeah. So both you and I, we come from Africa. We know the state of our education. We don't even need to mention it. Yes, and that is some of the things we, the youth, decide are fighting. And when I say fighting, we don't need to get guns and sticks and go on the street. No, we are changing the narrative of the education by getting these skills forced into schools. And what kind of skills are we forcing in schools? So I see you have the same thing. You have state students progress and students across the country. You're empowering them. How exactly? Which kind of digital skills? I'm actually saying digital. Which kind of skills are you putting in the education so that it's better? It's on the quality of the people abroad. I'm very curious.
Okay, one of it is our yearly program that we just finished. It was awesome. It people around that didn't know that the program was holding were asking what exactly was going on, because you could see students um, coming in their numbers with their vehicles, and we did leadership. So and it's strictly for prefects. If you are not a prefect, if you are not a leader in any category, whether at a classroom level or at a school level, you are not permitted to attend such a program. So it's purely for leaders, school prefects. So we can present to the international community leadership skill. We can say leadership skill can move higher than we can think. Leadership skill one. The second one is digital literacy. And personally, I went to see how it is, how children respond to tech, how students respond to technology. So I went into a class and a primary school, so where you have children at 5, 6, 7 years. And I got into that place. It will interest you that we have the government approval letter. We have the government approval letter that licenses us to schools to run this program. So I got I got that permission, and I walked into the class, and then I began to talk with the students. I discovered that they don't have any idea. They don't have any clue on what ICT is, on what technology is, and I began to teach them. And it will interest you the examples I presented to them. I used a bag. I used a bag as an illustration. I used a bag as an illustration when I was talking about folder. And let me leave that apart. And then when I finished talking with them, they were excited. And sincerely, each time I go to that school today, each time I maybe pass by and then decide to greet the school management, the primary school, the students rush out of their class, no matter what they are doing in their classroom, no matter the teacher that is teaching them, they will rush out to come and hug me. I wish I could have videoed it and I show you clips of students. I mean, little children rushing out and they are screaming, "Uncle, uncle, uncle, uncle," and they will all rest on my body and they are excited. I went further in securing um, more like a printing press where you have systems. And I got the permission of the school management. I picked some of those students to that place and I started showing them, this is the mouse, this is the CUP, this is the keyboard. Wow, it was like they don't want to go again. They didn't want to go because the way they were touching it, they were looking at the screen, they have not touched it before, they were so excited. I was amazed, and that gave me I had fulfillment of my day that day. And so we can present that as a second offer. We can the third offer we can present to the international body is to say capacity building. Capacity, I mean, is fundamental issues that affect students. Fundamental issues that affect students. It could interest you that you see a child who is doing extremely well, and all of a sudden his academic level will start dropping. And we don't care to find out what exactly is the problem with this child. So we have noticed that there could be peer pressure there could be nonchalant attitude there could be um, will you call it laissez-faire attitude? Will you call it not finding education interesting? Some of them may start looking out that they could go into business, not knowing that they ought to have basic background to and for their education. The next one I think very key is character. A student may be doing so well in in all his subject, but he doesn't have character. So I had to penetrate the schools by introducing soft skills. I've gone to some schools to teach that soft skills. Instead of you have hard skill, you are doing well academically, your hard skills are cool, but your soft skills can render your hard skills useless. Let me stop now for now. Let me stop here for now. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm really interested in a few things you've hit
Yeah,
on, because one of them is
I
training
can feel it.
student leaders. Yeah, yeah, student leaders. It is very important, because back then when I was still in school, I almost hated school because of student leaders. You know, they would technically take their power extreme, and it will go extreme to the extent that they want to cane you, you know, and you can't talk back because you'll be in trouble, you'll be sent home. And you know, when you're sent home, an African parent will beat you even before you say anything, you know. And yeah, so that is truly amazing that you're doing for the student leaders, because I know they need
Yeah,
it. They need to be guided into leadership. And another thing you've mentioned is about the kids, and that truly shows how much impact you have on the kid, because
yeah,
when you go somewhere and the kid remembers your face, you know, the kid always erase faces from the people that didn't make an impact. So that is impact, and I applaud you for that. So, Chris,
yes,
back to you.
yes. I just want to commend your activities and you're doing to these young people. You know, creating impact to young people is creating impact in the long term, because what you just presented to them is the compassion, your concern, your love, to for them to learn at the young age. You know, if you if you show compassion to young people, you know that there is no, you will not get anything in return, right? But you want these young people to be guided, and you want them to have the education that they need to prepare them to the real world, to the brighter future. And I commend you for that, Godfrey. I salute you for that. You know, focusing in these young children is a great thing to do. Yes. So now I'm so curious about life after school program. You know, it's essential for fresh graduates to find job, to experience the to experience this hassle of finding new job. But you did not stop in training students or children alone. You also guiding these students after school. So tell us more about that, and how do you do that? Do you help them in finding new jobs, or yes? Can you please tell us more about that?
Okay, my pursuit in respect to life after school is readiness to the wind that is coming. The reason for life after school is to equip the students to be prepared with the wind and the storm that will definitely come. We need to make the students to understand, whether it's at the secondary school level or is at the tertiary institution, that you need to be responsible. That's where the issue of your character comes in. What do you do once you leave school? Do you leave school to build capacity in your area of interest? Or do you leave school to carry files around? Or do you leave school to find your purpose for living? So that's the area I am majoring on. I'm not saying that finding jobs for them is wrong. I have a platform that is rapidly growing, and people are coming in, and job opportunities can be shared in such platform. But who is this person we are giving a job? Have he built capacity? Have he spent time to understudy? Have he learned the basic fundamentals of working in in serving in a working environment? Have you learned how to relate. Have you gathered some of these problem solving skills, um, creative skills, empathy, and many others? Have you been able to gather some of these skills? So, what I say to it is, as much as we want people to get a job, we should also labor in getting them ready to um, get that job. So we have gone further to do counseling. We sit one on one with them. Most times, a lot of them don't even know what they want exactly. They don't know what they want. They go for everything they want, and it's very unfortunate. So we counsel them to be able to find the purpose and the essence for living. What is the essence for living? What do you intend to come out with? Today is a bit difficult for me to go out and not see a child that runs towards me and he will shout future holds. Some will say, will shout our slogan: I am young, I am fresh, I am loaded, I am unstoppable. I moved, my wife moved into the market. The young girl that is about to sell to her now screamed and say, I am young, I am fresh, I am loaded. This is impact. This is fulfillment. So this is where I come in once it has to be life after school.
Okay,
Thank you.
that's very good. That's very good. I would like to know how exactly are you impacting the teachers? Looking at the digital skills that you're giving the students. So you've been able to change the lives of different people. Now I'm looking at what you're doing for the teachers. So can you tell us about how exactly are you skilling the teachers so that they can deliver good quality education to our young people?
All right. It's the testimonies about our last student leadership summit, the student summit. It has not stopped because we created a niche. We discovered that each time these students come, a teacher or two is sent to guide them, bring them, and take them back. So we created a niche and said, if these teachers come, sit with the students, for them, more like a waste of time. For them, they don't feel impacted. For them, they feel, what are they talking about? Well, it's the students they are talking about. So we created a professional training for them. In this last program, the first topic we handled for the teachers is the disciplined life of a teacher. The disciplined life of a teacher was the topic we handled, the first slot, and it was handled by a professor, Professor Chinedu Okoye, from the university, from Nnamdi Azikiwe University. He's a lecturer in environmental sciences. So he came to teach and speak to the teachers on the disciplined life of what does it mean to when you say a teacher, where comes in the discipline? Is there a life that a teacher ought to imbibe in? Is there something that makes a teacher a teacher? So that's the first thing we handled, and it was mind blowing. It crumbled a whole lot of their thoughts and their mindset. The second thing we dealt with is classroom management. Classroom management. We had teachers, some came three, some came four, some came two from their different schools. And we had one education secretary, is called Augustine Otiji, handle classroom management. So that's the second slot we did. And the third we handled we could say that broke the camel's back was the leadership. Leadership. How do you lead in your class? What and how do you take that responsibility? How do you take charge of your class? How do you lead the students? And we discover that leadership is first your life. So we say to them, the exact thing you are going to give birth is the life you are living. What the students see you do is exactly what they are going to do. So we have a whole lot of packages for the teachers, and we are already preparing for their meeting coming up in October. We're already scheduling our speakers already because we take our time to pick sound, resourceful personalities. So we have to book them on time. It will amaze you that the program coming in October, we have booked about 6 or 7 speakers who are coming to speak to that event. So we don't just pick anybody. We look at your background, we look at your experience, we look at your qualification before we bring you on board. Then we have the digital skill training for teaching and learning. Digital skill training for teaching and learning. That is also there. How do you connect with your students even while school is not in section? When there was a lockdown, there was a sit at home, we said no, the teachers ought to connect, whether through Google Meet or through Zoom or through many other apps that are there in the social media. We needed them to leverage on it. So we have so much to do ahead of us. Thank you very much.
That's really, really good what you've talked about. And I have a comment about it. Yeah, we also kind of did the same thing this side, but for us, we are like focusing on digital skilling. And what really beats me with the teachers is that they really want to learn, you know? But some of them, the kind of teachers we look at sometimes, the ones that can't have access to such skills, such trainings that we have to give them for free, you find they don't actually have the gadgets to allow them to benefit fully from the program. Like you find we need to skill them in digital skilling, how to use your smartphone awesomely, schedule some classes, teach online so that you can earn something. Like mostly the time of COVID, they were not earning. It was really bad for the teachers. That's what I remember in my country. I don't know what happened that side, but this side it was
Yeah,
crazy,
you are correct. You are very
Yes,
correct.
it was very, very crazy. And now this brings me to another question about the teachers. Some teachers, they just are not willing to learn, or sometimes the school board, the school head teachers. Like I can tell you something that happens to me when we are taking the skills to the school. You go and the head teacher is like, you pay me to come and skill my teachers for free. It is truly disturbing because you're taking these free skills to these schools, and they want something for you. They I want to know, how exactly are you dealing with the school leaders, and apart from school leaders, the government itself? How exactly is it involved in whatever you're trying to push to the schools? Because these are very good skills that you're bringing for free on top of that. Yeah. So how are you dealing with the adamant school heads, and also maybe the government not working in cooperation, or if it's working, how exactly is it going? Maybe you can shed some light.
All right. So what we have done is to be patient with the teachers. We have to be patient with them. We have to keep talking and to keep engaging with them until they begin to leverage on the idea. Before they left the environment that day, because at a time the food we cooked wasn't enough. At a time, the food we cooked wasn't enough because we had more than we were expecting. So we have to be patient with them. We have to keep talking. We have to keep believing, and we have to keep trusting that they will come to the realization that what we are selling to them is important. And then part of it is that and because he is going for free, sometimes people are very funny because he's going for free. Something tells them, wow, they have international sponsor, and something tells them maybe they have been giving money to give us and they don't want to give it to us, and they are just telling us long stories. So we have to be patient with them. We have to be keep pushing, and then they will come to realize it. Then the part of the question you asked, dealing with the government, is a very interesting one at that. What we have done with the government is to push, and we have pushed to get their approval, to say, okay, go ahead with the program. They are sponsoring any of this program. They have not given us one kobo. No government has given us shishi. They have not given us 1 naira to say, okay, take this to augment what you are doing. So they don't sponsor. So what we have done is to follow the legal aspect of it, get the organization fully registered with Corporate Affairs Commission, get the approval from the state government, all the necessary approval, visit the Minister of Women Affairs, and we've gotten all that makes a foundation a foundation. So we that's where I think I can answer to that. That's how we are relating with them.
Thank you so much for that, Godfrey. Now, I just wonder, because you speak well, so I just wonder, Godfrey, if where is this love of you coming from? Where is this compassion coming from? How did you get into this advocacy? What drives you to do this continuously?
Well, there are many parts of it that gave birth to it fully. There are many parts of it. One part of it is that I am not excited, I am not happy with my with the approach of the educational system in my time. The attention from the teachers, um, things we ought to learn, we were not. We were only taken for excursion maybe once, and I think we went to the airport, and that was it all through my time in school. And the second one, part of it, I said they are in budget. The second part of it is um, I would have possibly read engineering. My wife keep telling me that tomorrow. I would have been in the science, and for that, I am pushing, I am saying for career choice making in courses, in profession, in training these students. I am headlong. I am pushing it. Money, no money, fund, no fund. I will trek to meet these students, sit with them to understand who they are, what they were born to be, and the future that is ahead of them. The other one of it is I have seen um, teenagers raped. I've seen teenagers violated, intimidated, not knowing their right from their left. I've heard of, I've seen uncles rape their house helps So I am in pain, and my pain is making me go as much far as I can to bring transformation to this matter. That's my body. While I was in the secondary school, there's this teacher we had while I was in secondary school. That's another part of it. Who We were in SS2, and the teacher messes around with SS3 students, the most senior students. So by the time they graduated and we were moving into the final class, the senior class, that is a female teacher was making attempts to that. In that same secondary school, we had a homosexual. We had a homosexual who cunningly and quietly and dubiously dragged teenagers to his house to mess them up. This is what I am fighting for. This is what I am passionate about, to see how I can contribute my quota to it. Thank you very much.
You are a UN SDG impact maker and a hero of your land. Your love for these people is selfless. You see that there are some things that needs to be fixed, and you stand up and say, I cannot take this anymore. I need to do some actions to fix it.
Yeah, that's really, really amazing. And I'm truly impressed by your personality. As I said, I've seen you try to teach the church people how to use digital skills, and you know how
Yes,
that
please
goes.
tell us yes, please tell
Yes,
us about that.
yes. So you can tell us about that because mostly in the the church side of it, people don't like change. Yeah. So how did you come up with that idea to teach them? Maybe we can conclude with that.
Okay. Is a very interesting story at that. First, I wasn't into tech. I didn't read anything that has to do with tech. So I started first by I used to work in a real estate company. I manage um, properties. So I started volunteering for platforms, for free platforms. So once I go online, I search out volunteering opportunity. I search out for vacancy where one could render a service. That's basically how I started. I just keep looking for where can I help. So I I started meeting people, started attending tech events, and many of those tech events brought that. So they will say, okay, bring the camera, I will bring. They will say, bring the projector, I will bring. They will say, oh yeah, set it, I will set. I didn't know how to set projector screen before now. I learned it in the process of volunteering. You put the screen, you set it, you put the camera. They will say, "Oh yeah, do the attendance." I started registering, and at the end of the day, you just maybe if there is food, you eat. If there is none, you go home, and all of that I kept doing, and until Google Digital Scale came up, and I started following different persons that were running these Google Digital Skills for Africa. It was a program that was going on around, I met it around 2017, 2018. So I joined, and I was volunteering. I was going to churches to tell churches why they should do this training, because the young man said he was going to tip me. He was going to give me something. So I was doing that. From there, I sourced for different platforms that were delivering training for Google. I joined, I wrote application, sent to them. All of a sudden, I got a call, and then they said I'm expected to come to Lagos and they are going to train me for 1 week and all of the blah 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 blah. By the time they finished, I went to Lagos. It will interest you that I slept in a house close to a fence for 1 week. That was where I slept, and then I got that skill, and then I came back. I started going to churches. I was doing the training myself now. I was going to churches. I was training in in their hundreds. I go to some churches, I train 100 people. I go to another one, I train 400. I go to another one, I train 200. I kept doing that until I asked myself a question. I said, can't I do this for pastors in my in for pastors? Can't I do this training for pastors? So I created that niche. That was how I created the niche of that. So I now called it digital skill training for church growth. That's what I named it. Digital skill training for church growth. So I started calling leaders of churches. I was going to call leaders of churches. So they will invite me. Sometimes is I travel 6 hours, 4 hours, 8 hours, 9 hours on the road to go to a particular location. From that time, there was no week I didn't have a training somewhere. There was no week for 2 years. And for 2 years, I did it completely free for 2 years. I was going to different locations. I've gone to the southeast, southwest, the east, west, north, and south. I've visited all parts of the country through that opportunity. So I sit with these pastors. I'm not talking about, I've left training the churches, the church members to training. I moved up. Not that I don't train, I still train church members. I train business people. I train the youth in their different categories. So, but it was more of pastors. So the leader of that denomination, the leader of that diocese will I will talk with him. He will ask me, so how much is it? I will tell him it's completely free. And he will say, okay, so what do you get? And I say, impact. I will go to that diocese, sit with the pastors, and then I will be speaking for 4 hours. That's that's the that's the maximum I have done. I will speak. Some is 2 hours, some 3 hours, some 4 hours. I will be training them practically. I will use my phone. I will use their phone to show them how to navigate from WhatsApp to Facebook to Google Meet to all the Google platforms, Google Translator, and many other YouTube, how to do a live stream, and several other things. I show them on phone how to search things. So that I have done, and I'm glad I did that, and it was completely free.
That's so beautiful. And congratulations to the success of that. And you can see the impact that you are making in your region, not only in your region but in your country. More people will be inspired of what you're doing, and all the students and teachers that you made impact with will be inspired and will do the same thing eventually in the future. Mr. Godfrey, please invite everyone who is watching our webcast at the moment. Please invite them how they can support the Future Holds Foundation, how they can connect with you, and how they can start creating social impact in Nigeria?
Okay. So I'm saying that Future Host True Value Impact Foundation is willing. We are open. We are ready to have you work with us, partner with us in these programs and projects that we have. You can reach us through futurehost.foundation@gmail.com, or you can reach me personally from wenkedubemph@gmail.com, or you can contact me with my number 08160218792. It's a pleasure to have you, and I will be waiting to talk with you how we can partner together, how we can work together to the development of our nation. Thank you.
Everyone, thank you so much for watching the webcast of Magnetics this week. And we are happy to have Mr. Shudavim Godfrey watching him here. We are so happy to hear this good news from Nigeria. Please contact Mr. Godfrey if you want to start creating social impact in Nigeria today. Yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet to our channel, please do so. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please follow as well, Mr. Godfrey, and I will put all the links in the description below where you can find them, where you can connect with Mr. Godfrey, and where you can find updates of the Future Holds True Value Foundations. Thank you so much, and see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.
I am fresh. I am loaded. I am unstoppable. I am young. I am fresh. I am loaded. I am unstoppable. Thank you.